A very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So in our last session, we were discussing about a couple of Linux commands we learned. So just to list it down. So we had talked about ls command with the -l option and -a capital A option. L is to have a long list, which is show more information, and capital A is to show you the hidden files, is what we have seen. And after that, we talked about how do we, how do you navigate from one location to another location by using cd command. And also, if you want to know that in which location you are in, you have pwd command. So these are the two commands we talked about. And after that, how do we create a file by using touch command? And how do you create a directory, mkdir, we have seen. Okay. And after that, we talked about how do we remove a file and folder by using RM. A normal RM will work, by the way, for a file, whereas RM hyphen, it always prompts for yes or no. So that's where we use -f. And if you're removing a directory, -r. Okay. And you can copy the files by using cp command. And if you're copying a directory, it is cp-r. And you can move the files from one location to another location, or you rename by using mv command, is what we talked about. And after that, we talked about how do you see the content of a file by using cat command, and how do you filter it by using head and tails by using line numbers. And then how do we search some word and get it by using grep command, is what we have seen. And also you can get a columns, by the way, by using AWK, is what we have seen, by the way. Okay, so column based filtering. So until here, we have seen in yesterday's session. So these are the commands. Maybe too many commands in the day one, but still that's okay. You'll get used to them. And now today we're going to talk about the next thing, which is the editor, by the way. So start from editor. Yeah. Why explain once. All right. From here, we wanted to talk about. And yeah, so the same thing, like after the topic, I'll just give a pause. Like if you have any questions, you need to click on raise hand so that we can, we'll have the discussion, the same process again. So let me just go through this, the first command which we want to talk about, which is a editor. Okay, there are many editors which are available as a part of Linux operating system. And the editor like vi, nano, gedit, emacs, so there are different editors, I would say. Among out of them, so the majority percentage will be used is the vi editor. Okay, one of the editor, a very powerful editor, by the way, which we have is vi editor. But again, we also have to, okay, let's put it this way. So vi is a powerful editor and it comes with more and more options. However, we consider to know the options. However, we consider to know only certain options, because later we'll edit the code in a editor in the desktop, by the way. We don't use vi editor. I'm again and again talking. Okay, so if you're an enterprise company, you will not get access to log into the server. Okay, you will not modify the files on the server directly. You will not do that. Okay, at least let's talk 2025 world. Okay, so you won't do that. Okay, So that's where, okay, so too many options around that also is not needed. So, and where do we write the code? We write the code in the desktop, we keep it to somewhere else, and we run, okay, some centralized pipelines that will push the changes to the servers. Okay. So we don't directly manually log in and do that. But however, for a beginner, you need to have a basic idea at least. Okay, there's an editor, you need to do some, okay, how do you do some modification, right? So on the learning perspective only, we're talking about this. Now, ideally, organization, we work on the local desktop. So rather than the server directly for editing the code. So that's where we don't do those modifications on the server directly. Later, when we do the automations where we don't do manual changes on the, I mean, this is also okay. Same in the company. So why you are doing it. And the next one is, but however, okay, like I mentioned, so you need to still edit something. How do you do that? Okay. So there are only two options I'm going to talk about in VI Editor. So one is, how do you open a file? How do you do modifications? And how do you save it? Okay. So first thing. Second thing is, we open the file, we do modifications, but we come out without saving. You open the file, make some changes, okay, and save them is one option. You open the file, you made the changes, and you realize that changes you don't want to do, and you come out without saving the changes. So how do you do? So these two options is what we are going to talk about. Okay. Now, first, in order to open the file, by the way, so you just open VI file. Okay. So VI and a file. And if the file is already having the, okay, so now let's say ls, I'm opening VI anaconda, okay, as.cfg. If the file is already having the content, okay, it will open the file with the content. If the file is a new file, it will try to create a new file. So it is telling it's a new file. That file doesn't exist. Okay. So now let me go back and open the file which already exists. That's okay. Anything is fine. The file is there, it will open the content of that file. If the file is not there, it starts creating a new file. That's it. Nothing more than that. Now VI, and so I open the thing. Now after that, I mean, you open Notepad also. What do you do, by the way? So for an example, in Windows, for an example, I assume this is my editor. I just clicked on my, I just opened my file. Then what I do, by the way, I click here, like somewhere I'll click, right? So this, okay, what do we call that prompt actually? So should be going somewhere, right? Now, in order to click on that, okay, you wanted to edit the thing here. So first what you have to do is you have to press a insert button in your keyboard or I character in your keyboard. Okay. So I'm pressing I character. Okay. So now I'm coming into a insert mode. It is telling you here. Okay. You can see this down. It is trying to tell you. Sure. Yeah. Here you can see this. There is an insert thing. Okay. Now that means you can start making the changes. So now you can move your, no mouse will work, by the way. It's a terminal, it's a keyboard. So now I'm giving a line, hello world. Okay. So welcome to DevOps. Okay. Something like that. Now you made the changes and you press escape, by the way. Okay. Once after you've done the changes, and I'm going to press escape. Pressing escape will take away the insert mode. It's gone. Okay. And you press colon. Okay. Now you get onto the colon prompt. Even in Windows also, it is the same thing. A colon prompt is basically like, so on the top, you go and click on save. What you do, you just click on save. You are clicking save. Maybe there is a shortcut there. That's okay. But here you are pressing colon. By the way, you're going to that prompt kind of a thing. Now you wanted to save it. You type WQ, write and quit. Write is to write the disk. Write the changes to the disk is what is a context. Save in your file. Okay. Enter. That is changes is done. anaconda.ks.cfg. You can see this. These lines are there in that file. Okay. It's as simple as that. Now open the content. Once again, I wanted to do it. So open the thing. So open the file and you press insert and wherever you wanted to go. And also you don't need to type also. Okay. By the way, so if you have any content, by the way, so you can copy from your Windows box itself. Okay. You can go here and you simply press Ctrl V, it will paste here. So that is also an advantage. Okay, so maybe each and every character you don't need to type also. You make your file ready in Windows, you simply copy paste is also fine. Okay, and once you make the changes, press escape. Okay, and press colon. Okay, and type WQ, yes, and enter. Done. Okay, so then head off on the content.cfg, you have that content also coming. So you made the change. Now I open the file. By the way, I made a lot of changes. Okay, but I don't want to save this. What I'll do here, make changes, press, okay, escape, okay, press escape, and again colon only here. But you give Q only, that means quit. Quit always basically ask you, okay, you made some changes. Okay, do you want to proceed or not? It's a Windows means it will ask you that way. So, but here it is going to be exclamatory, Q exclamatory. You give it, it is not going to save the content in that file. So that content is not there. So there are two options in vEditor we wanted to talk about. Okay, so the two requirements in vEditor we wanted to talk about. One is opening the file, making the changes and saving the content, and opening the file, making the changes, and maybe you realize you don't want the changes. You simply come out of the changes. These are the two things we are going to generally need it, by the way. Right? And there are more options, by the way. So now let's say you want to search a word and you edit it. Okay, you want to add a line, delete a line, but you need to do it in more in an automated manner. There is one more editor next is coming in, SED editor, but yeah. So this is about the VI editor. Again, I'm mentioning, like, please do not waste much time on the editor options. Okay, it is consciously taken decision. Okay, it's not like don't want to teach you kind of a thing. There is no ROI. Okay, see, this is a very important thing, by the way. ROI is a very important thing. Okay, so now everyone is coming here and you're investing your time and money over here. You're looking for return on investment, isn't it? Even I will do that, right? So I mean, basically, like, I'm investing my time in teaching. I will also look for return on investment. Now you're spending your learning, okay, by the way, and you're spending your time. Always you need to look at how much return you're going to get it by learning this, by the way. Okay, so what is the benefit that you're going to get it? Okay, by learning this is a very important thing you always need to think about. Okay, so that's where in the context of ROI, okay, I am not telling you too much of VI editor options. Maybe I can open. So honestly telling, I can teach VI editor for 30 days also. Okay, seriously. That much big VI editor is. Okay, the fantastic books also is there. VI editor 101 packs is there. There's a fantastic books is also available. Okay, on this. Okay, if you're, I mean, if I wanted to tell, there's a very good book also is available. So you can learn a lot of things here. Okay, every day, half an hour if you sit, the next 30 days also we'll talk about vEditor. Seriously. I have done that. Okay. Now I'm looking my ROI, by the way. What am I doing with vEditor? Nothing I'm doing. I learned, by the way. This whole book I read. The whole book I practiced. Okay, this is anyhow 20-year-old book, by the way, not new also. Okay, so there is no ROI now today. Okay, now rather than that, you spend your time on some of the tools and all somewhere. The time you spend, you get a better ROI than this. Okay, that's the point. But yeah, so one fine day you can always spend out a couple of hours. That's always okay. But okay, so don't waste too much time around this. So we need to learn what we need to learn. That's inevitable. But also at the same time, we need to think about while doing this, what is the ROI? Okay. So in that context, so only these two different scenarios is only I'm trying to talk about in vEditor. Any questions on this?
Yeah, hello, Raghu. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, after making the changes in a file, so we are using WQ, right, to save it. Can't we
Yes.
use exclamation after WQ? Like, is it required, or we can save it without exclamation also?
You can say without, right? So that's how I saved it. Yeah.
Raghu, in case if we save the unwanted changes, okay, is there any possibility to revert or take a history?
No, you will not get it.
Okay.
In Windows also, you'll not get it, right?
Yes.
So
Normally, because we are saving in cloud, right? Is there any other environment we can compare and get it the content, the server?
no. Let's not go too much. Let's stick to the Linux.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
In Windows, if you open a notepad and you make the changes and you close the file and you wanted a history of changes, will you able to do that?
No.
So here also it is same only.
Yeah.
And to solve this history problem, there is another solutions. There is a version control systems like Git repositories is there. So if you have that problem of tracking the changes, your solution is different. Not the editor is a solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Clear.
Okay, all right. So the next one we wanted to talk about is an editor, because most of the time you may not interact with the system in doing the addition, in doing the modification in the file, by the way, but okay, rather than you try to do in the automation, by the way. So that's where even the where is this? Yeah. So in the syllabus also, if you look in, so here, I mean, we'll be getting onto the automation, by the way. So this is very, very small only. Okay. So we'll get onto the automation. So that means we need to do the things automated way. And also the roles and responsibilities also, we talked about the foundation to our role is automation. The roles and responsibilities also, when we have written, okay. So we have mentioned about automation, right? So let's start doing that setting up the context from right from starting only. Okay. So that's where, okay, the editor also, whatever you're going to learn, and maybe you'll not interact the system manually because the V editor requires a manual intervention. That means you need to open, it requires a human touch. Okay. So it can't actually do without that. So that's where, okay, so you require some automated way of the things, and for editor also you require to do the things. So that's where most of, as a DevOps engineer, you're going to make most of the changes with automation while you are using Linux to OS to automate, and shell commands only to perform that particular job. So here the command SCD comes as a default editor, which it can do a job for you to edit the files. Okay. So generally when we pick up any option in the editor, so what are the different options you will get it? You will get a search and replace. Okay, you need to find something, you search and replace, and you add a new lines, or you delete a new lines. This much only you will get it. Do you think any other option you get it on the editor? Anyone you can think of it? Maybe when I ask the questions, you can think about it. But generally, these are the three options only. You will do it in the editor. Don't come with, I mean, generally like, I mean, searching. You may ask like, I want to search. Search means there is already a grep command, right? So other things are also there. So strictly talking about editing a file, whether you search about and replace, or you add some new lines, or you delete some lines, or you maybe replace a lines. Another option also I can add. There is replace of lines also you can do. There is one line. I want to replace that with another line. Generally, these are the things you should be getting. You may be getting. Not beyond that is what I feel. But you have any thoughts? Please, well, when I ask the questions, you can go ahead. But to do this, by the way, so the SCD command is what is the one we are going to prefer. Now, in SCD command, we use -i option, by the way, to edit the file. So that means if I want to edit a file, so I'll be going with um, -i option. And however, in a case, if you don't want to edit the file, but you simply need to just see the changes on the screen, then we don't need to use the -i option. If you really want to edit the file, you use -i option. You don't want to edit the file, but you wanted to see only the changes on the line output by the way. So then you can go for without -i option. So for this, I'll pick up a file. So cp/etc password, I'll copy it here. Okay. So now cat password is the one file. I'll pick it up. So just for demo purpose. Now, when I wanted to replace something, I'll be using -i option. Now, let's say I don't want to replace it, let's say, then what I'm going to do is for search and replace, maybe you can do this. Search and replace, there is a no login. Wherever you have no login, I want to replace that with s login. Okay. So first, if I go for cat password, okay, there are a lot of no logins. You see this no login, no login, no login. SCD, okay. So S stands for substitute. Substitute, you go for okay, a pipe symbol. I'm telling you can also use /. You can also use question mark. Many things you can use. I'm just using pipe because it's my personal choice. Okay, so some people may be using /. You can use that also. Okay, pipe is also you can use. Now substitute, anywhere you find no login, you replace that with yes login, and in the file of password is what we're telling. Okay, now hit enter. It is just showing the output by the way, but it didn't modify the file because there is no -i option. Okay, so if you give -i option, it will really modify the file only. Okay, let's say if I go and give cat password, there is still no login. But whereas if I go and give s-i, let's say, enter, it will not show me any output. Now the changes are gone into the file. Okay. So that's what you wanted to do. Now, generally, you may get into a couple of more scenarios. One is okay, I'll not edit the file all the time. So I'll just try to, show you the outputs only. So I'll not use -i. So now substitute, search for, there is something called as a root as a username, maybe something, there's a word root, and replace that with, admin, by the way, something. Okay, I'm giving, and the password. Now you can see this in this line, there is a root, it is being changed to admin, and some other place also you should be having a root. So our grep root from password. So you're getting in the operator line also, you got it. So here you have a root, it is also made it as admin. But however, the grep is identifying there is more root entries, and the more root entries is still root only. Okay, whereas okay, so now whereas this one is modified and this one is modified, whereas these two are not modified. Now, what is the relation between this one and this one? So the SCD editor is trying to do the modification only on the first possibility. It is not asking you to do on this, or it's not doing by default on the second possibility, third possibilities. By default, SCD is modifying, okay, only the first possibility of the line, and it is moving on to the next line. Okay, so that is where it is. Now you wanted to make it global. Okay, so simply go for global. Now you can see this G stands for global. Globally change across the line, not file. Every line in the file it will take care automatically. On a line, if there are multiple things or multiple words want to replace, multiple matches you want to replace, so then you go for G option. Now some cases you get a requirement that you wanted to change only the second possibility. Yes, SCD supports that. Now you can see this first possibility did not modify, third possibility it was not modified, only the second possibility it modified. Instead of G, you can give a number also. That's okay. It's a pretty rare case you get it, but still. So G is some quite common option. You may use it, by the way. So that's about something about this. All right. Now, while you're searching, by the way, so there's also another scenario, which is I also. Now, let's say if you're searching for any word, I think which is there. So system is there. Okay. So grep system password. Now you are seeing system from in two places. And if I go with a case insensitive search, I can see the system in multiple places. Okay. Now what is that I wanted to do is I wanted to search and replace a system. Okay. And I wanted to replace with a server, system replace with server. And I wanted to globally change it, or maybe with a case insensitivity I wanted to do. Okay. That means even there is a capital S possibility also is there, I wanted to do. Okay. So enter. Now you can see this, all the systems has been changed to server. Wherever it was there, it has changed. Even system D changed to server D. Okay. So now there was even a capital letter. If you don't give -i option, okay, so it won't change. If you see this, here you got a server, but here the system is still system, right? So it won't change. So when you wanted to search with a case insensitivity, so then you have I option. So G stands for global, I stands for case insensitivity in the search, by the way. So that's about substitute option. And whereas if you want to add a new line, okay, so there are three options which you have. Okay, one is you insert in the given line number. Okay, so for an example, okay, what is the syntax it is telling? In the first line number, okay, you insert hello world. That means what is the output? You're getting like this. Now what happened to the first line? First line became a second line. Now you can go for append. That means add to the append, add to the first line. That means first line is first line only, but the hello world is being added to the second line. The third one which you have is, okay, change the first line. First line, whatever you have root and all, you remove that and you add this line. Is what the three options you are telling. Okay. Now you can go with the line number, or you can go for searching a word also. You can search a word root and change all the lines wherever you find a root with hello world. So this line changed, this line changed, this line. Two lines has been changed to hello world. So now wherever you find hello world, you insert a, so wherever you find root, you insert a hello world. So you got root here, hello world came. You got root here, hello world came here. So like that, you can search a word also and you can do that. Both the criteria are positive. And you can delete the lines also by using, okay, you can delete a line by using D option, by the way. So now let's say 1D. So delete the first line. Okay, so space or without space is fine. So okay, 1D, delete the first line. So 10D, you have odd line data. Okay, 10th line remaining, something like that. Now wherever you have root, delete those lines. Okay, delete those lines. Now I'm not really giving -i option to the SCD command. If I would have given the SCD -i option, then automatically, okay, it would have modified that file. Okay. Now with a single SCD command, we can perform multiple operations also by using -e. That means, okay, these are all you can do. So SCD, first you remove the first line, and after that 10th line, you add hello. And after that, you search for root and replace that with admin. So first line root is gone, it added hello, and there was a root, it added replaced with. You will just perform operation after operation. Okay, so the SCD is the one which we will try to do for modification of the file majorly on the command line over automation SCD. So the same options is possible on the VA editor also, but I didn't explain these options on the VA editor. Why? Because I don't want to do that way or will not do that way, right? So that's the reason we are using SCD. And yeah, so with automation also, this is possible, right? Now, if you are going with VA editor, again, you have to learn SCD. Rather than that, start learning SCD only, because end of the day, you have to do automation. So it is a one-time job. Okay. So that's about SAD and the editor, both VI and SAD. Any questions?
So what is -E stands for?
Hyphen?
E.
Don't know. Man SAD command. Manual SAD command. Linux manual page. -E. Expression.
Okay.
Raghu, SED is not specific to VA editor, right? It is specific to OS only, right?
VA is a different command. SAD is a different command.
Okay. Normally, editor we need to install, I guess, right? VA editor.
Sorry?
Normally, to get VA by default, it will be available in any OS. I think we need to install the VA, correct? If I'm wrong.
No, these both the editors will be there in the bare minimum operating system also. You don't need to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Extending to a VI, there is also called as VIM, by the way. So VIM comes with an extra options like, opening the file with colors and things like that. So that additional package you may need to install, but otherwise VI comes by default with any bare operating system. Any bare operating system. Yeah.
Yeah. Clear.
Any other questions? Okay. So the next one, which we're going to talk about, is a very important one. Okay, because as a DevOps engineer, okay, you need to deal with a lot of URLs, by the way. Maybe the URL which is internal, checking your application, connecting your application and testing the application, or else you're connecting to the internet and doing something. So whatever it is, okay, a command line browser is very important one or important part of your job, by the way. So most of the time we need this. I don't think so. Without a curl command, my life my day ends, by the way. Okay, so it won't. We will be doing some or other thing with the curl command or the command line browser. The command is curl. Okay, either you connect to the internet and download the packages, or so you check your applications whether those are working or not by using all these all these curl commands, and this generally used command, by the way, as a part of your job. Now, the browser, what do you do, by the way? You talk about the browser on your Windows also. Like, let's say you take Chrome. What are the two things that you'll do in the browser? One, you do the browsing, right? And the second one is, downloading the files. Maybe you click on download and you get it, right? So here also it is the same thing. Okay, you start browsing it, and the next one is you are going to download the content. Now, how do you browse, by the way? So if you have a Google, let's say call google.com. So this is the content of the google.com. Yes, this is the content of google.com. You may think that, opening a google.com, this is the content, but no, this is just the UI representation done by your browser, by the way. But actually, let me show you the actual source, view page source. This is the actual content which I got it from the Google server. My browser is actually trying to convert that into a human readable or human representation way, I would say. But actually you got it, the content is this. So that means the curl command don't deal with this fancy conversion and all. It's only deal with this raw content. And we need this only. Okay. And for doing this and all, I'll use Windows browser only. I'll do my laptop only for that. Okay. I'll not go for server. Okay. To watch a movie, I don't go to a server. I'll use my laptop only, right? So for certain things, I don't use my server for specifically, by the way. Okay, that's where, okay, so we necessarily need not this. Okay, now what we need to do is, depends upon, so something. I mean, depends upon I would say like what where was I? Yeah, depends upon the requirement generally. Okay, you may not really get this junk content and all. Okay, you get a proper content also. For an example, maybe as an example, I can. Where is this? Okay. 1 second. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Now let's say I am having okay. So I mean, so we use some automation, by the way. For an example, just I'm giving an example. So there is a Wati. Okay, there is a Wati. Wati is a official WhatsApp. I mean, builder, by the way. So maybe the WhatsApp which you use is only the, I mean, just a normal user WhatsApp. By the way. Okay, there are no charges and all involved. But for us, okay, so we actually, as a business, by the way, so we send the messages and it is chargeable to us. And because we use business WhatsApp, by the way. Now, while using the business WhatsApp, so what is the advantage I'm going to get is the advantage of automation, by the way. Okay, so 10,000 messages, okay, to 10,000 people. Okay, each message, one message to these people. So we'll be able to send it in just in 1 minute, 2 minutes of time. Okay, so that's where, okay, so I mean, you would actually has to deal with Facebook only for that. But however, these are the vendors comes in between. They'll provide you, make your life easy. Okay, I'm a customer of this also. Now, if I want to send a message, I don't open UI and things like that. Okay, I'll simply use a curl command and do that. So cat, let's say if I show you, there is a what is script which is actually I have here, and I'm using curl command only to do that. Okay, so what generally I'll do is so something like this. Okay, we'll define some template, something like that in Wati. So what I'm going to do is I'll simply hit this. So it's basically made a call and actually trying to send the details to that guy. So this information which it shown me actually is a proper information. Okay, so maybe it just came in this format. That's it. So it is more of a readable format. So the whole point I want trying to make is okay. So you will not, okay, I mean, you may call something, the content may not be junk like this, by the way. So the content is some way you will understand the content. Maybe for a developer who wrote this code, for him it is a readable content. Maybe not for us, right? So the curl command things, outputs and all, you'll get it. Maybe something you, since you are dealing with what you know about it, you will know about it. Okay. So that's the point. And going back, so the curl command is what we use for browsing. Okay, any URL you're having. Okay. Now, if your URL is having a proper text only, for an example, this content only you let me take. We are taking the GitHub page, right? So we are opening this page. And if I go to this page and if I see the actual URL of this particular page, so this is the content I'm getting. Okay, now I can take this to the server, and if I give call this, by the way, so I think this is the content which I'm getting for readable purpose, right? The following is a something. It all depends upon what you're actually browsing. Okay. Yeah. So when you browse, you get the response for it. And also you can do with the curl command is downloading something. I already gave some URL, or you can get some URL from the internet. That's okay. So you can download a file from internet, like the same thing in your browser. So for an example, so if I go to some web page, okay, so you have some download option, download. And if I click on this, it will download in my system automatically. And while it is downloading, so how it has downloaded, automatically some file name came, right? So the file name I did not choose, it automatically came. Okay, or else you wanted to store in your own file name, what do? Right click, save link as. and then it will ask you the name, and then I'll give new, enter. So it will store the file as new only. You see this? Previously, it was storing the default file name. Now the curl also supports the same two options. So one is you give the file name your own. I mean, you can just choose small hyphen capital small O, and you give the file name of what you're looking for. Okay, and it will download in that particular file name. Or you don't want now you see this. You got this particular file. Let me rm-f Apache. Now let's say if I wanted to download the file name, whatever it offers, by the way, so then you simply go curl -capital O. Okay, that's it. So it just got that file name. So you want to give your own file name, small o, and see this. Let's say test.tar.gz, some extension, that's okay. Now I intentionally changed my file name, so it just showed as test.tar.gz. So this is also the default file name. Okay. So -capital O, you don't want to bother about the file name, and capital O, you want to bother about the file name, so then small o. Okay, so that's how you can curl and you can browse and you can download. Right? Any questions?
Can we download this file to a particular location, like at any destination?
Yeah, there are two ways to do that. So you go to that location, cd to that location, run the command, you're done.
Okay.
Or else if you are using -o option, you give the full path of that, folder and file, it will download to there.
Okay, fine.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so with these editor commands, we can only able to edit the text-based content, right? In case if you want to edit Excel files or else Excel macros or some other, then how it should be.
So those are not the part of server jobs, by the way. Servers are
Okay.
not.
Okay.
You can still do that. That you can do it in the Linux. I mean, desktop version. It makes sense more, by the way, rather than doing it in the server side. Still server also, if Linux desktop side you can do it, server side also you can do that. But generally that don't fall under our role, by the way. My role, I'll not modify Excel sheet that to be on the server side. If I need to do that, I'll do it on my desktop only. Yeah. All right. So the next one which we have is now the files which you downloaded. Okay. So is basically as a compressed files, like a zip file. Now, if you would like to extract this particular file, so Linux, it's basically like tar is a default Unix format which is also adopted by Linux. So the .tar, by the way, and so gz means it used some compression method which is gunzip, we call it. So tar is a archive. That means it just like kept everything and kept all the content, by the way. It just made an archive, and gzip is actually going to compress the size, by the way. Okay, so mostly you'll see .tar. If you're seeing .tar, you don't bother about the extension or whether it is .gz or something. It doesn't bother. You simply, if it is a tar, you can simply go with the tar -x. X stands for extract, and you Apache xf, by the way. So the file name we are giving, right? So XF and file name is Apache, and you view this, now that is converted into a folder. It's been extracted and you got a folder. So you got the folder and you see the content, you see the okay. If it is a tar, you simply go for extract the tar. And now if it is a zip file, you simply use unzip command. So for an example, there is a URL here. I'm just downloading some zip file. So I downloaded the zip file. Now you can see that there is a main.zip file. Oh, shipping.zip, sorry. So there is something called a shipping.zip. So unzip shipping.zip file. Now what happened? So it created a shipping-main folder. Go inside that. Do ls, you can see the content. So this is how you can extract the content, by the way. So if it is a tar file, tar, it is a zip file, unzip. So the softwares which you download from the internet, okay, so those mostly comes in a compressed format. So whether they can be tar or zip, it's going to be downloading using curl command and extracting by using is a zip, unzip. Tar means tar-xf. And also, if you have observed, I have used an extra option over here, curl-l. What is this curl-l is? I think if I hit this URL, it will take you to some other URL to fetch the content. If I hit this URL, and it is going to take you to the another location where this file is actually available. Okay, so some cases will be there. So best example I would say is, I think, I mean, when you're actually, let's say killer coda, okay. So something like this, if I click on login, okay, it is taking to some page. And if I click on Google, now temporarily it is taking you to a Google login page, right? Now, in order to proceed to the new location where I wanted to go, the curl-l comes into picture. -l stands for follow. Okay, follow to the new location if it is being asking you to go to the next location. So curl by default will not do it. So -l is, if it is taking you to some other location, so go there and get that file from there is what is the context. And otherwise, tar and unzip is the two commands for extraction. Clear? Any questions? Okay.
Raghu, the curl-l is just to locate to specified location, is it? Or it will do the unzip also?
No, curl command is different, unzip is different.
We are combining, is it here?
No combination, those are two commands. This is
Okay.
first, this is second. Your voice is very low, Balaji. No, very, very low.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, what is the difference between tar and the zip? Like,
So it's like a different vendors of compression, right?
okay,
Zip is natively from Windows guys, tar is mostly from Unix guys.
okay. If any file is zipped in the Linux, we use the tar command to unzip it. And if we are downloading anything from the Windows to unzip it, we use this unzip command.
No, if you are downloading something, the file is with a tar,
Okay,
then you will use tar command to extract.
okay,
If you are downloading the file that is zip,
okay,
then you will use okay, zip unzip command, by the way. So here also, if you see, I think these guys are not giving it, but let's say if I go for some other thing like some other web page, Tomcat generally. So the same guy is actually offering zip file and as well as tar file. It's your choice which one you wanted to use.
okay.
Okay, Linux supports both the things. If it is Windows, I think I can't go with the tar because Windows may or may not support tar. I don't know, but yeah,
Okay.
you will download zip file because Windows native is zip, and you'll simply download it and extract it. So
Yeah.
Linux also, mostly I'll use tar because since I'm using Linux, but sometimes they will offer only zip file only. So which will, I can even still work in Linux on that. It's about just two software vendor, two different type of softwares does the compression, by the way. So when you're extracting, your system supports both the things.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the last command, can you go to that killer coda screen? Sir, the last one, extracting the files from zip. So here we are executing two commands. First, curl command to download the file to shipping.zip. After that, we are using this unzip command, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So that comes to the end of Linux basics with one last concept, by the way, not a command, but a concept, which is called as a pipe symbol. Okay. So pipe symbol is all about combining two commands in a way. The first command output will go as an input to the second command. The first command output can go as an output to the second command. So you will use a pipe symbol. For an example, so cat/etc will cat all the content, okay, some file, and grep from root by the grep root, by the way. So the command output actually went to this. Now you're not done there. You can also go with the next one also, like, so you can give head -n1. You got only one line, maybe AWK -f colon print $1. Okay, you got root. Like this, you can continue the filtering, by the way. So the first command output, if you would like to send to the second command, by the way, so we'll be using a pipe symbol. Now there comes a scenario that a touch, let's say sample.txt I'm giving. Okay. Now if you do ls, there's a file sample.txt. Okay. Now, whatever the way that it is, I'll give you sample.txt. So now the output is sample.txt. Now the output, if I go to the second command, rm, maybe let's say -f, I wanted to remove the file. So we're hoping the same thing, right? So whatever you get it, by the way, over here, it will go as an input to the second command. You hit enter, do ls, the sample.txt does exist there. It won't go. Because, okay, the pipe symbol, okay, in order to use, by the way, both the commands should support, okay, at least the command, whoever is receiving it, should support of receiving the output from the pipe symbol. They need to write a necessary code in Linux in order to do that. But rm command, they actually, I think it's not capable that much, by the way. Now that comes as a good use case for us to understand how you can deal with this. So you will be using taking a help of a third-party command, which is called as exarchs. Exarch does a couple of things. Now, one of the things that we're looking is if any command is not capable of reading the input from a pipe symbol, we will send it to exarchs, and exarchs will tell which command to run. Now that means it receives this output and it knows what command to execute. Then what it is going to do is it receives the output and it receives the command, both executes internally, and the job is done. Now sample.txt is gone. Okay, some of the commands may not support exactly pipe symbol. You're simply going and keeping the pipe and you're thinking that things are not working, it will not work. Okay. So that's the idea about a pipe symbol. All right. Any questions? Okay. So that comes to the end of the Linux basics part we wanted to talk about. I mean, I personally don't want to categorize the basics and admin topics as separate. It's because I mean, it's only like just been distinguished because so only a normal user what he will do in the system, or so with some specialized privileges what he will do in that contextually. But end of the day, it is a command, and everyone is doing their own job, right? So that's where, okay, so that's fine. But here we categorized into two parts, by the way. So majorly to talk about, so the Linux basics, that 1 day, 2 day buffer we wanted to talk about to get the AWS account. Okay, so for that reason. And second thing is, so the Linux administrative topics, I categorize because from here, whatever we practice is going to be completely from in cloud, by the way. So you will not be able to manage them with killer Kuda. So you have to get out to the server. I think we already got 1 or 2 day buffer. So we'll proceed with going and creating a server as well. All right, so let's get on to the how do we create a server? Is already mentioned here. Anyhow, I'll also demonstrate that. So once you log in, so there is a URL which is given here for your Amazon login also. So here, Amazon sign up, Amazon login page is there here. So you directly open this with this, okay. And I asked every one of you to create a account as well, right? So if you don't have an account, you have to go and create an account. If you already have an account, you can start using that, by the way. Yeah. So this is the Amazon login portal after opening this. So now here is my URL. So if I just open this, so here is the web page, I will be getting it. Maybe for you, it is going to be a brand new page. You will not be seeing all these services and all. I'm just using my existing account. So that's where you may see some, you may see something here. Okay, that's fine. But how to create your server? Okay, or before going into the server itself, let's talk about certain things on Amazon. Now, Amazon offers, okay, so once you sign up, by the way, you log in. Now, Amazon offers their services in different regions, by the way. Okay, so that means Amazon data centers, AWS data centers. Okay, so if you go to the images generally, basically, you can go like this, the diagrams will come. So Amazon have different data centers across the globe. And why they are having the data centers across the globe, by the way? Why don't they keep it in one place? Because keeping in one place is much easier for them. Okay, because they don't need to deal with all the logistics and all the talent sits in one place. It's all good, right? So then what is the reason that, so it need to go for, different geographical locations? Okay, so the first reason is basically the business, by the way. Okay, so now if Amazon is actually trying to keep their, since AWS or Amazon is from US based company, if AWS is actually trying to keep everything in one place, okay, so then okay, now let's say certain business, by the way, so who wanted to do, for an example, like EU market, EU is there. Okay, so you can see many data centers in EU, and you can see that in India also, like a couple of data centers. Now, let's say EU or India, what they will tell is, if you are doing, any company who is doing the business in India, okay, especially the financial tech where it is actually getting governed, by the way, okay, Okay, or else EU, by the way, any business who is doing in the EU, they have to deal with the GDPR policy. Okay. General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, that means the content of that country should not go outside of the country. Any of the PII data, okay, any business that deals with PII data, that means personal identity information data. For an example, if it is in US, it is a social security number, or if it is in India, it is an Aadhaar number. Okay, so if you are dealing with certain data, you can't actually go outside of the country. You can't take the data outside of the country. So that's a government policy, by the way. Now, Amazon can't sit in one place and does that. Okay, so in order to serve the customers in across different geographical locations, so they have to go and so solve their customers in different locations. So that's where they go and create data centers in different locations. So that means Amazon is actually trying to offer data centers in different locations. Out of that, our training, we are going to use North Virginia only. Only one region we'll use is North Virginia. And why do we use only North Virginia, not other regions? So there are simple reasons, by the way. North Virginia is the biggest from Amazon side. And you will not face general challenges of not getting the hardware. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, so we'll be going with North Virginia. There's also a second reason. Since I'm going with North Virginia, I'm actually going to offer certain setup in North Virginia. You will see that in a while. Okay, a customized image will say that I'm going to offer only in North Virginia. So for this training, so for that reason also you need to go for that. Okay, so the North Virginia is the region. Now going back to the data center, so there's also another reason which is involved. Now let's say in the US also, why they need to go for West and East? So country is still same. Why don't they go for a single one? Okay, why they need to really have two sides of data centers, or in fact 3 different things they are having. Each region is comprises of multiple data centers. Okay, North Virginia. Okay, what North Virginia tells you is if I go to some server, some service, it will show me that it is actually coming in how many zones. It is giving 6 data centers in North Virginia. One region is comprises of minimum 2 data centers. That means Amazon strategy is even one data center goes down, there is another data center still serving the customers. Okay, so that's where there are 6 data centers in this North Virginia. Okay, now that means the region means the region itself means there are many data centers within the region. And why there is need to make multiple regions in the same country, by the way? Now the question. Okay, now the answer is latency. Okay, that means the person who is sitting in the east side trying to access the application that is hosted on the west side. So there's a lot of latency, thousands of miles it has to travel. Okay, thousands of miles it has to travel. So while the data is transferring thousands of miles, your latency, that means the time taken to solve the request, will be more and more. Okay, so that's the problem. It will come into picture. Okay, it's a very practical problem, by the way. I can give you a good example. Maybe if you are interested sometime, you can see this also. So there's a problem with there's a problem in US, by the way. What is the problem is the stock exchange. The stock exchange sits on the east side of the country, whereas the customers there are with the left side of the country as well, right? So that means west side of the country. So now the customers who is actually sitting in the east, who gets a response much faster when it is actually dealing with the stock exchange, because a small value also can cause millions of difference for a big customers, by the way, right? So that's where the west customers are not getting, so maybe they're getting so I mean, let's say 1 second, if you take it, half second, a quarter second difference also, it causes a lot of impact, by the way. Okay, to solve this, one of the broking agency has solved this particular problem. So giving a common latency between the customers, by the way. Okay, there's a nice technical video also made on that. So I think why. Let's see, something like that. Search for. Yeah, this is the one. 38-mile cable. Okay. How to slow down an exchange? So how do you avoid giving a fast response? Is the idea, by the way. So how to give a common response to across the globe? Not across the globe, at least across the countries, maybe the thought process. Okay. Okay. So that's the reason usually, okay, the real estate around the, okay, so stock exchanges are very costly. Okay. Now you go to the around the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. So the real estate is very costly. Now in India also, you go to BKC in Mumbai. Okay. So around the stock exchange, okay, so around the stock exchange, by the way. So your real estate is, is very, very costly. Okay. So, and also if you have, at least in India, you have many banks, by the way. If you try to explore in maps, you will see that, around the stock exchange, within few miles only, you will see every bank headquarters there only. So they have a data center running there. Okay. So because of these reasons, by the way. So the more you near to the source, you get a faster response. I think you got the point. So Amazon needs to serve the customers, okay, with less latency. So that's where they are going to give the data centers, across the regions also. Even let's say some countries doesn't have any policy of GDPR, but still they want to serve the customers. They will go for, different data centers. Now, these two reasons, okay, so the regions exist in Amazon or any cloud, by the way. Now, in Amazon, we have North Virginia. We'll be using North Virginia. Make sense? Any questions on this? Okay. So the next is Amazon offers different services, by the way. Okay. So if you go to their Amazon, this one, I think, so here on the top, so there's a grid icon, right? So click on services. They offer different services. Okay. And out of that, so the compute service, the server part, if you are looking for one of the foundational services of Amazon is EC2. If you click on EC2, there they will offer servers. Okay. So we are going to create a server. Now we already know that. Okay. So what is the OS that we wanted to learn here? RHEL 9. So that means you'll be choosing RHEL 9 to create a server, by the way. And in order to create a machine, by the way, you require an operating system. Now the operating system in the world of virtual, by the way. So now today's world, by the way, so you're not actually, now let's say typically talking about, you go back to your lab, a little bit 10 years back. If anyone having a 20 years back history on studying the computer, it's a good thing to understand, but at least if you go back 10 years, okay. So laptop with the CD-ROM used to come. Okay. If you have remember, by the way. So so back in days, we used to get the CD-ROM. So why I need to get the CD-ROM? Because I put the CD and then I'll install the operating system. So for that requirement, I used to do that. But slowly, okay, the evolution of serial drives came into picture, like USBs and all. Okay, then how are you installing the OS, by the way? So by using CD, by keeping the USB, you're now going to install a operating system. Suppose also the same thing. If it is a physical hardware, you need to install the operating system. Okay, so rack server with CD-ROM. So now you go back to the server world. Okay, these are all the servers, by the way. So this is how the servers usually look like. And they also have the CD-ROMs. So we used to keep that. Now today world, actually, I think this era is gone, by the way. So we are keeping the address. But now when we talk about the server, we are not really taking a physical server. Okay, so we are taking a virtual server. Okay. What is a virtual server? Virtual server is basically you take a one physical server. On top of that one physical server, you're going to create a multiple virtual servers. Okay. Your hardware is going to be one, but you are going to create small pieces, okay, according to your requirement. Now I go to Amazon, when I say EC2 and I'm creating a server, it is actually a virtual server, not a physical server. Okay, that is one thing. Now the advantage of the virtual server is you don't need to install everything and all. You already install everything and keep something ready, and you can just use that image and directly run your virtual machine. Okay, so I can say that a virtual template VMware, something like that. So now you can see this. This is how it is going to be. So create a new VM from a template. They'll make some template and kept ready. And you simply, okay, if you are having a console access to somewhere to create a virtual machine, it will look like this. But you don't have that console access. So here, I think they have given a customized UI on like this. Okay. So for this one, you are going to So for this one, so there is already, that's what I'm customized template I'm talking about, is what I'm going to offer, by the way. So in order to do that, so we need to create a virtual machine. So how do you create a virtual machine in Amazon? Here I already given a how to create a server as well. Now open this URL. Okay, this URL is already pointing you to US East 1 only. That means North Virginia. And once you open EC2, okay, so you will find a launch instance option somewhere. Okay, here you can see the launch instance, or else you go to the instances here, you'll find a launch instance on the top. Click on launch instance. What is the next thing I'm telling? So here is how it comes. Browse for more AMIs. AMI is nothing but the template, by the way. Amazon machine image, they call it up. Okay, you clicked on that. And after that, search for DevOps -practice. Okay, search for DevOps -practice. Enter. Okay, and then after that, so what they're telling, what it is telling, so click on community AMIs. It will not take this much time. I think let's do the other way, I think. So let me cancel this. So browse more AMIs and directly go to the community AMIs. It's taking a longer time. Slowly it is coming. Very slow. Something is wrong. Let me refresh once again my page. Cancel. So launch an instance. You'll find this and you give, it's very slow actually. Hope my internet is good only. So browse AMI. Okay, then quickly go to the community AMIs only. Now it's coming. Okay, so now you search for DevOps -practice. This is taking time. I will give you some other alternate approach also. this much time it should not take. Something wrong with Amazon. I'll also give one more approach to make your life easy. So I think rather than doing this search, so we can go for so you can do this also. I'll give you this URL. So this URL directly will open the image also. Okay, it's taking very long time. Okay, if it is fine for you to wait, that's okay. Now you can just choose the RHL9, this one. If you don't want to wait this much time, okay, I'll keep a link here. Directly you can deal with that. So you can directly open this URL. Okay, so I'll show you both the methods, and it will automatically come, the image will come here. Okay, so then you choose this and you launch an instance from AMI. This is also fine. It will anyhow take to the same form only, but just the image has been chosen automatically. That's it. All right, so now go here and you have chosen that. Now you know to change anything at all. Okay, so basically what is this talking? So once after you choose that RHL9 DevOps practice, then you choose the key pair thing is there. So that means you go to the key pair, come down, there is a key pair section. So choose proceed without a key pair. This is also not needed, and just launch an instance. That's it. So you go to the view instances and just refresh. So the machine is getting initialized. So we just need to connect to that. Now, how do you connect? That's another thing. So the next follow to that. Now we need to connect to this. If you are using a Mac OS or a Linux, by the way, you can use inbuilt terminal. So that means I have a terminal like this. Okay, you can use the terminal. Now SSH. Okay, so how do you connect to that is SSH to that by using an IP address. They all offer one public IP address. So take that and give EC2-user, which is the username. It is already given that username here. Okay, so what is that? Here, EC2-user is the username and the password is DevOps321. You hit enter, it will ask you for the yes or no, type yes, and the password it will ask DevOps321, you enter, and it will take you inside. So something like this, SSH EC2-user @ the IP address if it will ask you here. Also, it is not coming as expected. I can just show you from this only. So just any command line terminal should be fine. So your command line terminal, SSH EC2-user @ this one. You enter. It usually asks for this yes or no. You type yes, enter, and then the password it asks for DevOps321, capital D, capital O. It won't show you while you're typing the password. You have to cautiously enter it, and then you will be entering into the prompt. For Mac OS and Linux guys. Now, how about Windows guys? So Windows guys doesn't have that. So that's where they have to go and install a software, and the software URL is also given here. You simply download this simple executable file. Just open that file. Okay. So once you open the file, so the putty will open like this. Now you enter the IP address here, shown in yellow color. Enter the IP address here, and just click on open. Here also it will ask you yes or no. Just click on accept, and then it will ask you the username. So you may be typing EC2-user here, and the password it will ask, which is DevOps321, and you will be able to get the same prompt again. Okay, so that's how you're going to get it. Now, once I'm done with my work, I'll go to the instance and I'll terminate this instance, because termination is nothing but deletion of the instance. I deleted the instance. Because if the instance is running, or even if I stop, there is some charges will come into picture. I'm just going to delete the instance. And whenever I need an instance, by the way, I'll simply go and open this. And so directly it will open this one. So RHEL 9. Don't choose CentOS 8, by the way. It's an old one. So launch instance from the AMI. It's all simple only. This one. And come to the keypad. We don't need it. Launch instance. And you're getting a new instance and the IP address. It will come to running state soon. So just give it some 30 seconds of time. It will come up, and then you can just connect to that particular machine. Okay, so that's how we are going to create our own machines, and we'll connect to those particular machines. From tomorrow, we'll practice on our own Linux boxes rather than using killer code. Right? Clear? Any questions? I think that's all from my side for today, by the way, whatever I wanted to cover. So every one of you, make sure you have your AWS accounts and servers getting created. You can start using them and learn from tomorrow's topic. Yeah. Any questions? Go ahead.
Rahul, like if we delete our instance, so will the data will be deleted on that server? Like if you have any.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, it will delete.
Okay. So in order to keep the data, we need to stop that instance instead of terminating.
Yeah, at this point of time, we don't have any data. We'll terminate. At one point, we need data. We'll stop it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can we know like how much this AWS will cost for a month if we use at least 2 to 3 hours per day?
So around $30 easily it will come.
30?
$30.
$30. Okay.
Sir, when we create this machine, automatically that user ID password will be created, sir.
Right. So one user and password will be there always for the systems.
Okay, it will be same even if I am creating.
With my image, yes.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions?
So do you want us to create the account in Virgin, I mean US East one, or is it fine if we create an account with AP West one, like Hyderabad?
There is no account associated to region. Account is common. Inside account, there will be regions, not
Right.
not the other way. Any other questions? No questions. I'm good. I don't have any more topic for today. Not able to hear you, Babu.
Oh, now can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear.
May I know the reason why this customized image we are using here with your own image? Why you're not? We are going with another way,
What is the other way?
creating a EC2 instance with a free tier that way.
No, there is no relation between free tier and the image, by the way.
Mm-hmm. That is why because what is any reason you have customized your own image like our perspective of learning DevOps?
No, your question is wrong. Is what is something happening there? In order to, you have any prior experience in AWS, like creating
No.
creating machine? No. Okay. So that means in order to create a machine, you require an image. Whether I give,
Mhm.
Amazon give, or someone give, you have to use one image.
Okay.
That is inevitable.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where I'm giving mine.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, Raghu, I'm clear. Just now he asked the same only.
Okay.
I mean, this image already you given the customized one, right? I mean, this you prepared and this Amazon actually whenever we search it will show lot of, right. We are creating our own account with our ID, right? You are created this image in your ID. Is it reflect to all or how it?
It's a global image, so it can be accessible by anyone.
Okay, this is global. Okay. At the time, whenever we give the username password, whatever you given is the. I mean, we can use any one or that only it will work for this image.
That only will work. In companies also, you will be having an image and you kept some sort of a centralized login, by the way. So that means in
Oh.
company, you create a server with the company customized image. When you launch a server, you will be connecting with your username password to that server. Okay. So that means you got an email, you got one username password, the same email and username, I mean, email in the sense username password only will log in everywhere in the systems. Okay. So just imagine that in the organization, you launched an instance and you are authenticating with your username and password. Your username is nothing but EC2-user. DevOps 321 is nothing but your password. Just imagine or relate, by the way. That's it. In company also, it is going to happen the same manner.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi, Raghu. Yeah, so on the EC2 instance, you have two IP addresses, the public IPv4 and the private. Which one is used on the PuTTY?
No, you just open the URL directly, it will come. The search will also come automatically. You know to really choose which one also. The URL which I have given, you directly
Okay.
it automatically find the AMI and it's a direct my AMI URL only.
Okay. But just say, let's say you didn't provide that URL and then I launch an EC2 instance and I want to connect to PuTTY through PuTTY to the EC2 instance. Which of the IP address would I use?
When you launch your instance, you get one IP address to you, to your server. You copy that and yeah, with that you can connect.
Okay, because on the server I see two, public and the private.
You should be using public IP. Oh, sorry, I overheard that. Public IP.
The public IP, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I thought public image, private image. Okay, sorry.
All right.
Okay, all right. So thanks everyone. So see you in tomorrow's session then. Bye. Good day. Good night.